So today is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to be talking about books and yarn again. My lips are finally almost completely healed from the last, like back in September when they were really bad. I have been wearing lipstick again, and I wore one on Saturday night. I'm not really sure if there was anything in it that I'm allergic to. They are feeling dry, but they're not feeling itchy and gross, so there's that. So yay. So today we're going to talk, I know I did like a vote, and the only comment I got was for the box of yarn. This is all my sock yarn, and I've got some really nice stuff in here that I want to share. But the other, I got some votes on Facebook, and more votes were for going through the toy cabinet, and I don't even know why I put it up for a vote, because I'm going to do this eventually. I can't do this until my husband's going to be home to do it with me, so we may actually do it this Wednesday, which means there's going to be some background noise because our daughter will be home, and that's going to make it a little bit harder to do it. So there might be a lot more editing on that one. Although I am starting to get much better at editing, I'm really hoping to not only have like a little opening card, besides the title card that I have, like a little opening video of me, and then the title card, and then me doing my thing. So anyway, let's get to the actual, we're 2 minutes in, I haven't even started yet. So we're going to talk about books first, because I've only got a few I want to talk about. Number one, I am still slogging through Emma. It got really dry really fast. I'm going to take a break from it. I'm going to return it to the library. I'm going to write down what page I'm on, and that's just going to be that. I can't keep reading it right now. I will eventually finish it. It's just so dry. And I had a lot less issue working through Pride and Prejudice because I read it as Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and they have not done a fun side thing for Emma. I am exhausted. I had a long weekend, and I did a lot of reading over the week, mostly one book. I have a good friend I've been talking to a lot lately, and we both enjoy reading, and so I'm lending him one of my favorite books, and I decided to read it again before I lent it to him because I hadn't read it in years. I had given him all of these details, and I was wrong on most of them. So I lent it to him on Saturday. It was the goth-themed party we were at. It was for his wife's birthday. He's going to be lending me a book. I'm going to see them again on Saturday. We're going on a double date. He's going to lend me a book as well. So the book that I just finished reading to lend him is Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Maguire. It's the only book I'm going to talk about today that I don't have with me because he's, you know, borrowing it. And this book is beautiful. If you haven't read a Gregory Maguire book, most people know him from Wicked because it got turned into a Broadway play. And the play is nothing like the book from what I understand. I haven't yet to see the play. I plan, hopefully, to see it. I am trying to really push my business so that we can have some extra money to do fun things, and one of those fun things I would really like to do is go see a play. Specifically Wicked, since it is coming, they're doing a tour, and it's coming to Michigan for a little while, somewhere that's reasonably close. It's not out in Lansing or Grand Rapids. It's going to be, I think, either Ann Arbor or Detroit. So most people know Gregory Maguire from Wicked. The first book that I read by him was Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, and it is by and large my favorite book by him. I have read I've read that, I've read Wicked, I've read Lost, I have read Mirror Mirror, but I don't remember much of it. I think I read it either right before or right after I had my daughter and baby brain kicked in. I don't remember any of it. So I'm going to be rereading that probably pretty soon. I own Son of a Witch, haven't read it yet because it is the same tiny type it's as Wicked. It's a very long book, and I do have some problems reading the really small typeface, so we'll see. I do plan on reading it ASAP. So Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. It's written in the point of view of one of the stepsisters, and the stepsisters are not bad guys in this book. The stepmother is. She is probably the bad guy. But the stepsisters are not, and Cinderella, the Cinderella character, Clara, makes the decision to be like the home and hearth person. She doesn't want to leave. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a whole lot of talk about, like, she thinks she's a changeling. And if you don't know what a changeling is, it's a baby that's stolen very early in their life and switched out with a fairy baby, and the fairy baby doesn't thrive. but she's thriving just fine. So her story of being a changeling is very, very different than your normal story of being a changeling. So it is a beautiful story. The characters are wonderful. There's a lot of talk about painting. There's a lot of talk about, they're in Amsterdam, I believe. There's a lot of talk of tulips, and it's this very beautiful, wonderfully written book. It's a coming-of-age story for the ugly stepsister Iris. Definitely a coming-of-age story. It's a bit of a love story in a lot of ways, but it's less of a love story from the point of view of the character, and more of a love story about building a family after it's been broken. And it's amazing. It's such a good book, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. So that's Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. I don't have it to show off because my friend Chris has it, and I'm really looking forward to him reading it and we can talk about it, because I love having something like that to talk about. I love being able to talk about books with people if they've read them. So if you have a favorite book that you've read, please comment down below and we can maybe even have a chat about it in the comments. Or if you're reading a really good book right now, please let me know. I will try and edit out the throat clearing. I think it might just be the season right now, but I've been constantly clearing my throat since October and nothing's been helping. So I will do my best, if I have to clear my throat, to pause, clear, and keep talking so that I can edit it out. But please forgive me if you really hate that throat clearing sound and I can't get them all out. I'm still kind of learning how to do this whole thing. So the next book we're going to talk about is a book that I'm reading, but it's actually from the youth section of the library. My daughter picked it out for me, and it is called The Twist Rose Key. It is by, I believe, Toni, T-O-N-E, I'm guessing it's Toni Almhjell, A-L-M-H-J-E-L-L. So it is, this is another one of those books that's really quite beautiful to read. So far the story is very interesting. I don't want to get too in depth because I am not that far. Here, let's see if you can see where my bookmark is. See, I'm not that far yet, but the basic gist of it is there's this little girl who had to move from her home that she grew up in. Her name is Lynn. She had to move, and it seems as though she left a very good friend behind. We have not been reintroduced to that friend yet, but I'm not that far. And she recently lost a pet. And that really hits me where I live, man. I don't like it when animals die, but that's I'm not spoiling anything. That's like in the first few pages they talk about the pet who passed. And she's going into this fantasy world. That's all I know so far, is they're going into this fantasy world, and she's meeting some interesting characters. There's a pretty awesome plot twist very early in it, so I can't really talk much about it because of that. There's a world where animals are have human characteristics. They walk on hind legs, they can speak, they're human sized, and it's really cool. And I like books like this. I like going into another world books. That's the books that I tend to write are either set in a very different world from Earth, or the characters go into a different world. The NaNoWriMo book that I did, National Novel Writers Month book that I did last year, I didn't finish it, but I started editing it this year for Nano, is a book where I wrote it back in, gosh, like junior high school is when I started writing this book, and now I sat down for Nano last year and rewrote it. And they travel into a different world. I think because The Neverending Story is my all-time favorite book and movie of forever, that might be a big part of why I like these travel into different world books. So, or The Twist Rose Key. I got it. I got this at, once again, the Troy Public Library. I go there almost every week, although we haven't been in a little while because holidays, and I've been busy with business stuff. And so, but Twist Rose Key. So next, I believe my last vlog, I had been having a hard time with my business, and I just figured I'd do a quick update before we move on to this next book. Things are going better. I had a really good show, and my Etsy's picking up. Things have been great. So everybody who was sending me good vibes for that, thank you very much. So the next book I'm reading is called Animal Rescue Team. It's part of a series, and this particular one is called Gator on the Loose. I'm reading this one to my 4-year-old. She picked it out. She's been really into alligators lately, so go figure. This is actually set in, I believe, Detroit. It sounds like it's set in Detroit. They do talk about Michigan. They talk about Michigan, lots of different places, and I'm just going to read the little blurb on the back of this book. Who do you call when there's a gator at the city pool? Meet Keisha, age 10, and her family, the Carters. Mama, Daddy, Grandma Alice, Razzie, and baby Paula. Together, they're Carter's Urban Rescue, and they specialize in helping when there's a wild animal where it doesn't belong, like an alligator at the city pool. And we're almost done with it. We have 1 chapter left. We're going to finish it tonight. It is super cute. Like I said, it's set in Michigan, so my daughter really loves it because she knows that we live in Michigan, and it also gives a lot of like fun animal facts, and they talk about, you know, conservation and all that stuff. So that's really, really cool to me. This one I'm reading to my daughter. She picked it out. It's really cute. We do have another one we will be starting probably Wednesday night. So I read to my daughter 4 nights out of the week. We usually take turns, and some weeks I'll read to her 3 and some weeks I'll read to her 4, but my husband's been in rehearsals, and so he has been reading to her on his nights off, and then I read to her on rehearsal nights, and then I read to her on Sunday because it's garbage night, and he's the one who takes care of all that. So he does a few chores and does the garbage while I read to her. So we've been getting a lot of reading done, and every night we do a picture book and a chapter from a chapter book. My husband is reading her. The play that he's in is actually based off of a children's book. Well, not a children's book, it's based off of a youth book. So it's like a chapter book like these, but it's from the youth department, and it's called Peter and the Starcatcher. It was recently a Broadway play, and they're doing a stage performance of it because it's now, you're now able to, you know, it's off Broadway now, so you can get it and do your own stage play of it. So he is fighting Prawn and some associated other parts. I think he's also, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. Gremkin? Yeah, Gremkin, I think is the name of the character. The orphanage guy. Anyways, my husband might come down later and he can tell you. Oh, and I got this from the NaNoWriMo my first year. I won the Troy Public Library, one of the 2 grand prizes for Nano. I got some really cool stuff. I got a really nice tote bag with like a typewriter on it, like printed on it that says writer, and it's nice canvas. I also got some really cool bookends that are typewriters, a bunch of really neat fun little things like magnets and coupons, and I know this year the TPL didn't do it because it was my roommate at the time who was doing, like, putting it all together, and she, before anybody gets mad that my roommate was the one that put everything together and I was the one who won one of the grand prizes, she did not draw it. She made sure, she told me she didn't draw it. She just got really excited when my name was drawn and called me. She got to break the news to me that I won, but she did not do the drawing. Somebody else did the actual drawing. This is my coffee cup though. I love it. Good to the last plot. I'm gonna set it over here. Hopefully I won't bump. I'm still using the crappy tripod. It's not really a tripod, it's just like a camera holder. I'm still using it because the tripod I got is this tall, and I would need to basically put a big stack of books to set it up so that it's eye level. Now we're gonna get into yarn. It's yarn time. This is basically my box of sock weight yarn. Really quick, I'm just gonna show you I need to weave in the end, so they're still kind of like a bit of a disaster, but I've been making these basically Roy G. Biv rainbow mitts. So here, I'll put one on and show it. These are for a commission for my mother-in-law. A friend of hers at her church wanted to order some. So, but yeah, they're like legit Roy G. Biv. Like the legitimate rainbow. Yay! I really like them. I think I have one more of this rainbow that's a different hue. It's like a little, I want to say muted. So I guess if you added like brown or gray or something like that to the rainbow colors, but only a little bit. It's hard to describe. This is one of those yarns I got off of Wish, by the way. Fantastic. I'm working on one more set of mitts right now for myself. I needed to take a break from commissions, so this is the one. It's a little bit smaller than, like, I like my my gloves to be more like a motorcycle glove, I guess you could say. Like, I like them to be a bit shorter than the ones that I was making, so you can kind of see the difference here. See, it's a bit shorter. So here is the box of yarn. This is all of my sock yarn. This thing is huge. I love this box. I love sunflowers. Love sunflowers. So every time I have an opportunity for sunflowers, yay. So I showed some socks a little while ago that I had recently knit. Not that recently, I had knit them last year, but I think it was like my second vlog that I did. I showed off some green socks. I could not pronounce the name of the pattern. I'm not even going to try. It's on my Ravelry, so if you're friends with me on Ravelry, I'm at Aorai, A-O-U-R-A-I. Well, that's at Aorai is my Twitter, but I'm Aorai on Ravelry. And so that was this yarn. This is a Madeline Tosh yarn, and I love Madeline Tosh yarns. There's a few of them in here. I did splurge a little bit and get a lot of Madeline Tosh yarn. And one of the reasons I love Madeline Tosh yarn is they have this beautiful, like, so many of their yarns are tonal. I really love tonal yarns because I'm always very attracted to variegated yarns, but then you sit down and you knit with them, and unless they're like a nice long variegation, it can be very muddy. It can look very muddy and messy. But tonal yarns are all one color in different shades and tones. And it creates this really beautiful effect that I desperately enjoy. So that's one of the reasons I love Madeline Tosh yarns. They're also, especially their sock yarns. This is from their sock line. I think it's called Tosh Sock. And they're all, I believe they're all also hand dyed. Their sock yarn has a, you can kind of see, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it to focus on this. No, okay. It's hard to tell. I wish I could get it to focus really well, but it's got a very tight twist. I mean, not a tight twist, that's not the right word, but it's got a very regular twist. And they're usually wool and, let's see, is this one Tosh Sock? Yeah. So they are 100% merino wool, but they feel, the way that they're spun, they feel like they have a, like some nylon in them because they're very strong. And I love Madeline Tosh yarns. So, but you can ask any knitter, and Madeline Tosh yarns are pretty consistently some of the best yarns you can get. They are definitely, like, everybody should knit with them at least once. I got addicted to them when they came out with the unicorn, I think called the unicorn tails or unicorn horns. But it was basically just these little tiny, they were about this big. I can get 2 of them and make a set of my mitts out of them. And I did it in this really pretty brownish, this kind of brownish color. It was very similar to this, and coppery brown color. So this is more Madeline Tosh. I will have to do a shawl tour soon. I will sit down with all of my shawls and show them off. I used this is leftover from a shawl that I did that was in that and this color. This is also Madeline Tosh. Is this Tosh Sock? I think this is also Tosh Sock. Yep, Tosh Sock. And the put up of Tosh Sock, it's a fingering weight yarn. It is 395 yards for, and that is, do they have the ounces on here? They do not have the ounces on here. But it is 395 yards, and it suggests a US 1 or 2 needle, or a US B to E hook. So it is 26 by 30 stitches for 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And these I got at Crafty Lady Trio up on Hall, and it's $26.50 for a hank. Now that's a lot of money for some people for yarn. All of my Madeline Tosh that I'm going to show you, I have amassed over the years. I believe I've now been sitting on some of this for 3 or 4 years. Every year for my birthday I get money from my in-laws. My delightful in-laws always give me a handful of cash, and I usually buy something I need for the kitchen and something that I want, and it's always yarn. It's always some luxury yarn. So Let's talk about the rest of the Madeline Tosh that I have in here, that at least what's on top, because I might have more hidden in the bottom. So this is another one I got. This is going to become a shawl probably. I love using Tosh sock for shawls. I do like using it for socks too, but it's just the colors are so beautiful and I don't want to hide it in my shoes. So these are going to be for shawl, and I'll probably have some left over, just enough left over for some ankle socks once the shawl is done. So I really like this. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but this is sort of a almost navy green. It's like navy blue with a hint of green. And then of course this beautiful, not bubblegum, it's brighter than a bubblegum pink, but it's very, very pink. This color, the blue color, Black Walnut is what it's called, Black Walnut. And this color is Prairie Fire. So I love this color. Moving on. So now we're going to talk about my heritage sock that I have in here. I have a couple of heritage sock. I made a pair of socks out of each of these, and I have enough left over. I can't decide if I want to do a pair of striped socks. I am addicted to teal and mustard together. I've got like blue and mustard all out in my living room. But I can't decide if I'm going to do a pair of socks in this or if I'm going to do a pair of mitts in this. There's this mitt pattern I love. It's been on Ravelry forever. It has been on my queue in Ravelry since Ravelry started. I think I looked it up and I'm like the 500th person or something to join Ravelry or something crazy like that. I'll look it up again. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I gotta be a little lower than that. I think it was before the first 1,000 though. Anyway, but there's this one mitt pattern that I really want to do in this. I don't even know if I can get the pattern anymore. All I know is it's still in my queue. I haven't clicked on it to see if it still works, but these are heritage sock, which I also got. Most of these I either got at Joann's or Crafty Lady Trio. I think maybe 1 or 2 of these I may have gotten at City Knits, but I don't live by City Knits anymore, so I don't go there much anymore. Yes, these are both Cloudborne. This is the Craftsy yarn. So these are both Cloudborne fibers, and I'm going to do some socks with each of these. I'm definitely going to do socks with these. I got really addicted to sock knitting summer of 2016. There is a Michigan knitter group that I'm a part of, and they do the Summer of Socks. And so I got really addicted to sock knitting, and then I knit like 6 pairs of socks, and then I was done for a while, and now I've got these lovely. These are going to be, there's not a ton of yarn here, so they're probably going to be ankle socks. And then if there's any left, I'll make mitts. I will wear scarves, socks, mitts, and shawls. I will wear them all the time. And I will rotate them. And I love wearing socks. Mondays are my day that I wear my handmade socks, because we go to Kindermusik. And everybody's like, wow, those socks are so pretty, because you have to take your shoes off before you go in. So I get to show off my socks on Mondays. This is a sock yarn. This is the Croy sock that I actually knit a top out of. Maybe I'll wear it. It's more of like a fall spring, so maybe I'll wear it soon. So, but I made a whole sweater. I did the global warming t-shirt from Ravelry out of this, and it's so cute. I just wish it fit me a little bit better. Let's first get into my other stuff that I know is going to become socks, and then some stuff that's left over. So this is more heritage, and this is really, really pretty. This video is not going to do this yarn justice. It's this beautiful dark chocolate brown with almost like an olive green, more of the tan side of olive green, more like an army olive color. Spun into it, and there's actually 3 shades. So there's a dark chocolate, a milk chocolate, and like a camel color. So pretty. I can't wait to make socks out of it. Probably some mitts too, because there's quite a bit. So now we can talk a little bit more about this heritage sock, because I have now knit like 6 pairs of socks in heritage sock. I have one problem with heritage sock, and that's that it pills a little bit. So the first couple times you wash it, there's going to be a lot of pilling. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I should have, yeah, this is also heritage. I did a pair of socks in this too. So can you tell I like the heritage though? It is really, really nice. This is the one I did the Pomatemus or Pomatomus. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a pretty popular sock pattern. I believe it's from Cookie A, who does a lot of sock stuff. So that's also the Heritage. So Heritage sock, it's a Cascade yarn. It's 437 yards, 100 grams. Pretty standard for sock yarn, if you ask me. And it is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So that might be, I think that might be why it pills. I believe superwash is known to pill a little bit more than not superwash. So, but that's the Heritage. I've used it so many times and I love it. Now we're going to get into some Knit Picks yarn. I do order from Knit Picks on occasion. So this one, it's another tonal, of course. I love doing tonal socks, go figure. So tonal yarn, and this is the Knit Picks Stroll in fingering weight, and this is hand painted, and it is, I believe, yes, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, perfect for socks. You want to do superwash with socks because it's not going to felt. And it's 462 yards, 100 grams. And this stuff feels so nice on my feet. I really do like Stroll. I think it's a really good sock yarn. I think that it's worth the money for sure, and that's probably not saying a ton because Knit Picks is known for being very inexpensive, but they're good quality. They're not great by any means, but they're good. They're good quality. And my other Knit Picks yarn that I have in here right now is some more Stroll fingering, but this is the non-hand painted. This is in Tranquil. This is the sock yarn that I did a sock pattern in that I would never suggest to anybody. If you go to my Ravelry page and you look up, these are the only socks I have in this color, this bright teal, this light teal, as opposed to that dark teal I showed you earlier in the Heritage. These are I only did one pair of socks in these. That pattern was a nightmare. I will never do that pattern again. I will never suggest that pattern to other people. It was a nightmare. And I am a well-versed knitter. I have been knitting now for 16 years, and I've done countless pairs of socks. This is a pattern. They were mirror image socks, so like you do one and then you do the other one the other way, and it just was not an enjoyable experience. And also this particular yarn it's still the superwash merino and nylon. It is so squeaky on the needles. So squeaky on the needles. Like, I'm getting chills up my spine right now just talking about it. It squeaks like acrylic. But these socks pilled less than any other pair of socks that I have done so far. So, really good yarn, doesn't pill, holds up really well, not as enjoyable to knit with, and the combination of this squeaky yarn and that pattern that had a whole lot of very tight stitches because there was moving cables, like it was traveling cables. Oh, it was just bad news bears. It was just bad news bears. I will probably do like mitts or something with this in the future, or maybe even include it in a shawlette. I believe, okay, so we're talking about Knit Picks Stroll. Stroll fingering. That is what this is as well. This lovely gray. I believe this is the stuff I used to make a pair of socks for my friend Chris. Different Chris. This is Chris with a K, not Chris with a CH that I've lent the book to. I know a lot of Chris's and Christies. Anyway, and now I know a lot of Ashleys too. I met a new Ashley as well. So this is all the Serenity sock weight, and so this is a nice chocolate brown color. I got this specifically to do some steampunk choker type things, like crocheted, and just never got around to it, so now it's in my personal sock yarn. I made a pair of socks for my husband and a pair of socks for my friend DJ out of this, and not my nephew DJ, but my friend DJ. And this is kind of, you can see the stripe pattern on it. It's really cute, but I bought way too much of it. What was I thinking? I bought 5 balls of this. Oh, I know what I was thinking. It was on clearance. Oops. So I have a whole bunch of this Deborah Norville. Like I said, I bought it to do specific projects with. It's all the Serenity sock weight. So I have these 2 shades of green. So we have the Deborah Norville collection. We have a couple of different Serenity sock weights, and they are 50% superwash merino wool, 25% rayon, 25% nylon. These don't pill almost at all, which is fantastic. You look at them on the ball and they look like they might, and they don't. So this color is woodsy green, and it's a slightly yellower green. This color is technically also woodsy green, but it's a little different shade. I got these very, very, very different times. You can tell they're very different shades of green. I do light green though, so we can have as much green as we want. It's my favorite color. And then I have a basic black, pretty simple. Everybody needs a pair of plain black socks. I don't have one yet. Not that I've hand knit, at least. I have some that I haven't hand knit. This is 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. It is a machine washable yarn from Crystal Palace Yarns, and I got this a long time ago to make mitts, and I love it. This was from City Knits, so you can tell I like green and teal. I do like green and I do like teal. And this is, I didn't tell you about this, the Serenity. It's 230 yards, and I think it was like $6.99 without a coupon. I very rarely buy yarns at Joann's that I don't use a coupon on though. Although I may have gotten that at Michael's. But I also use coupons there. So this doesn't have any fun colorway names. It's just color 8119. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. I got it a long time ago. If it was at City Knits, I go up there maybe once a year. I haven't been there since March, and I know I didn't buy this in March. So this I think I bought back when we lived by City Knits, which would have been when my daughter was not even a year old. So, but it's a really good yarn. I have knit with it before. So now we're getting into some more knit picks. I've got some more stroll fingering. These I bought for my Ravenclaw. I'm going to do a Ravenclaw vest and some Ravenclaw socks. We're almost done with this box of yarn, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of other things that I've been meaning to talk about. This is my last yarn that's in here. Lamb's Pride Superwash Sport, and I have knit a shawl out of this that I really liked, and I just wanted like a nice plain white shawl, and that's what I made out of this. And I have so much of this. I don't know if this was one of the ones my friend Maitland gifted me that she found at like a resale shop, or she does that all the time. She's so sweet. She will go, like, she lives out in Ipsy, and they either have, she's gotten me yarn at this big garage sale in Ipsy that they have every year, or she'll like find it at resale shops, or somebody will give it to her knowing that she is crafty or whatever, and usually the yarn comes my way because she doesn't really use yarn all that much. So I'm just reorganizing while I talk, and I appreciate it so much. I do have a lot of yarn right now though, so I may turn her down next time she brings me yarn because I have so much yarn and I don't have the space for more at the moment. So I might have to break it to her gently. She might even watch the vlog. So Maitland, I love you. Please, no more yarn for a little while. I'll let you know when I can have more. But it's not really that season anymore because usually I think she gets them for me at the garage sale. So, and that's not happening again anytime soon. So there, I have a little section that's all those little tiny balls of yarn that are left over. I have a section that's the full balls of yarn, and then I have a section that's just the hanks. So just kind of packing everything in here while I chit chat. So anyway, that is my sock yarn collection as far as yarn that is for socks or mitts. All of the yarn in this box is for socks or mitts. I may not keep every single, oh wait, not everything, because there's that Madeline Tosh that's going to be for a shawl. I may not keep every single pair of mitts and every single pair of socks that I knit from this stuff because there's so much of it, but I will most likely keep a lot of it because there's so much nice yarn in here, especially the Cloudborne fibers. I've talked about how much I like Cloudborne fibers before. They are an amazing yarn, especially because they're so cheap. And well, I guess inexpensive, because cheap usually also means shoddily made, but they're not. They're so nice. So I'm going to do a quick weight loss check-in. I have lost probably another 3 pounds since the last time I checked in, which isn't much, especially considering it's been about a month since I've even talked about my weight loss journey. But part of it is because I've been in an absolutely stellar mood. Things have been going really great. I had a really great show. That was the one at the temple. I did really, really well. I just applied for a convention. I'm waiting to find out if I get in, but that's Penguicon. So I applied for Penguicon. I'm really looking forward to giving Penguicon a try. I've heard that my steampunk stuff should go over pretty well there, but that's going to be a lot of work because I'm going to need to make more steampunk stuff and more of my nerdy Lolita stuff, which is not what I've been doing lately. I've been doing mostly scarves. And it's a little nerve-wracking because doing cons, I haven't done cons since 2016. My last convention was Shudokan 2016, and my my last event that wasn't a craft show was Mid-Michigan Renaissance Festival 2016. And I only did one day of that because it was a really bad day to go. It was a really bad weekend because I only paid for one weekend. It was just a terrible weekend to go because there was another convention, I believe it was JFAX or something like that was going on that weekend too, and it just was terrible. And so now it's a little nerve-wracking. Conventions cost a lot more to sell at than craft shows, but Penguicon is close enough that I can probably, like, I don't have to get a hotel, so that definitely alleviates the cost. But, you know, good show. Starting to get back into cons, which is exciting. And I've been opening up to some friends lately. I've been talking to some people lately. 2016 was the worst year of my life, and I am just now a year after everything happened. And this, I'm not talking about the election. The election sucked too, but this is not about the election. Before you get up in arms, if you happen to be conservative, I'm not talking about that. But, you know, I think mostly my friends watch this video and you all know what happened. It is not something I'm going to talk about in this vlog. I know I've said before, eventually I will. I need to have a whole vlog for it though, to tell my story. But 2016 was the worst year of my life. And I'm starting to recover emotionally. But overall, I've been doing really, really well emotionally, and that's been really helping. That's been helping me with the weight loss, because when you feel better overall, then you end up doing better overall. So that's another 14 minutes. I have so much editing to do. Thank you guys so much for watching and getting through all this yarn with me and listening to me ramble about my life a little bit. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna try and post links like I usually do. I'm probably not gonna post links to all of this yarn, but I will do my best. I will compile links to as many as I can get, because some of these you may not be able to get anymore. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram. I believe I'm Be My Full Moon. Pretty sure I'm Be My Full Moon on Instagram. Yeah. So Instagram, Etsy, my Facebook page is Be My Full Moon Indie, but you can actually search Be My Full Moon and find me. So, and then on Ravelry and Twitter, I am at Aourai, A-O-U-R-A-I. So come and see me, comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. I don't even know what really YouTube uses now for algorithms to get people to watch my videos who aren't friends that I share it with on Facebook. But whatever it is, you can do them all. I love comments. Comments are so much fun, unless they're terrible, but I haven't gotten any terrible comments yet. I've only gotten one thumbs down on one video once, and it was my one about my sexuality. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys all probably soon.